He's Matt Birk, former NFL center, and he's got a pretty important title, at least it seems that way, NFL Director of Football Development. What the hell does that mean, Matt?
That's a great question. We're trying to figure that out.
Okay, what are you in charge of?
Well, I'm in charge of growing and developing the pipeline of football people. How's that? Is that a good answer?
No. Nice try, Harvard boy. Come on.
I thought that was a pretty good answer.
What are you doing with the combine?
Well, at the combine specifically, I think that with the onset of all this new technology that's out there, especially the last 12 to 24 months, it's really changed the things that we can measure. And I think that we owe it to the combine and to our players and to our teams to take a look at this combine workout that we've been putting our prospects through for decades. And just to make sure that these are the right drills that for our guys to showcase their talents and the right drills for our teams to evaluate their football talent.
I've been saying forever, we don't need the 40-yard dash. I think I can find more about you in 20 yards, 10 yards. I can look at quickness. I can look at side to side. But 40-yard dash, is it antiquated?
Well, I would say two things. One, this is never going to be an exact science, and that's why we have the position drills. That's why teams go and watch the workouts because they want to see. They want to see how a guy moves. Right? There's just there's an art to it. There's a certain thing that you can look at a guy and you can tell, yes, he looks like a football player, or no, he doesn't. Specifically to the 40-yard dash, Dan, do you know why they run 40 yards?
No.
If you just said because that's what they've always done, I would have accepted that as a correct answer. But the real answer is that Paul Brown, many years ago, figured out that when you're covering a kickoff, that you run about 40 yards in a straight line before you are contacted, which if you think about it, that's about the only time on a football field a guy is going to run 40 yards where there's nobody in his way. He's going to be able to go 40 yards in a pretty much a straight line. And so that is how the 40-yard dash came to prominence, and which is fantastic, which has served us well. And we've broken it down. We measure the 10-yard split. We measure the 20-yard split. But now, as we look at, I think you're probably aware of this player tracking that we used in many of our games this year. Now we can see exactly, how far does a wide receiver run when he's running a go route? How far is he running? Is it 60 yards normally when the ball's getting to him? Is it 70 yards? Is it 50 yards? What is that? I mean, I certainly think just intuitively speaking, when we say we're going to have all players run a 40-yard dash regardless of position, that does seem like it's a bit of an outdated metric.
Okay, if I was going to say pick one drill that will give you great insights into offensive linemen, what would be the one drill where you'd say, I can tell, this guy can play?
I like the 3-cone drill, the L drill, just because it shows how a guy moves, kind of shows his feet, his athleticism.
Explain that drill.
That's where you basically have 3 cones. It's set up in an L shape, and you basically run from one end of the L, and then circle the cone and come back. So you're doing some turning, you're doing some change in direction, you're doing accelerating, decelerating. Those are the things that I think measure athleticism the best. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily just the time of that drill, but I think it's important to watch technique and how a guy moves through it. But to me, there's a lot of big, strong guys out there, but big, strong, athletic guys, that's what you want to play offensive line.
What about quarterback? What's the drill?
Well, we have so many different types of quarterbacks. So I don't know if there's one drill. Obviously, I think for those guys, it's not one of the things that we measure, but it's watching a guy. It's watching a guy drop back and throw the ball, seeing him in person. What kind of ball does he throw? And that position, probably more so than anything, is a leadership position. You want to talk to those guys. You just want to see how they handle themselves. If you're out on the field by yourself in Indianapolis and everybody in the football world is watching you and evaluating you, do you look like that bothers you, or are you completely comfortable? I think that's probably more telling than anything with the quarterback position.
He's Matt Birk, the former NFL center with the Ravens and the Vikings, now the NFL Director of Football Development. He has no idea what it means either. joining us, Dan Patrick Show. How soon do we change the combine in some of these drills?
Well, we don't rush into anything, but right now with technology and the role that it plays in sports, in the last 1 to 2 years, the ability, the prominence of technology, it's kind of the old thing. In the last 2 years, we've probably advanced as far as we did in the previous 20 or 30. So we don't rush anything. But now with the player tracking data, it's kind of like we have this huge, ugly database with all this data in it. I don't think anybody knows exactly what it all means, but I think that it's something that we need to try to figure out what is useful, what can we pull out of that, and once we do, then we do an analysis of the combine and the drills and see, maybe it's something we go through and we say, hey, you know what, the workout's just fine the way it is. But I think as you've expressed, intuitively, it seems like there's changes that maybe should be made or at least looked at, because our game is so different today than it was even 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. The athletes are so much different. Back in the day, if you played defensive end, you played defensive end. Now we have guys, they're defensive end / hybrid outside linebackers. We're asking them to rush the passer. We're asking them to drop into coverage. We're asking them to do so many different things. So it would just seem, because the athlete's different and the game is different, that we need to take a look at these drills that have been around for so long.
What about the Wonderlic test?
It's comparative analysis for our teams, which is another point to why the workout has been the same for so long, right? It gives you a chance to compare players against players, not just from their class, but going back years. The Wonderlic itself, again, it serves a purpose. Is it the most comprehensive? Is it the be all and end all? No, but it's a tool, and it's a tool that we and our clubs know and that we're comfortable with.
My problem is the information gets out, and I think it's used to embarrass people. It's rare when we have Pat McInally, who gets a 50 and he's a punter for the Bengals. Okay, great.
Harvard guy, by the way.
Oh,
Dan.
I know that. Oh, boy, I know that.
But not everybody that went to Harvard scored 50 on the
What
Wonderlic.
did you get?
49.5.
Oh, stop. I think it's meant to, maybe not meant to, but it turns out it embarrasses players.
Right. Well, you're exactly right, and we don't like that either. It's not supposed to be made public. Certainly, things leak out there, and sometimes things get reported that aren't true. But there are other types of tools out there that try to measure, whether it be football acumen or cognitive ability or different types of things that our clubs use. But I would be in total agreement with you that making Wonderlic scores public doesn't really help anybody.
I got you to 46, so you already lied to me about your Wonderlic. So I'm really questioning who you are, and I'd probably drop you down to maybe a 4th or 5th round pick.
That'd actually be moving up because I was drafted in the 6th round.
I'm going to move you down. You're going to be in Brady's draft. I'll put you 6th round. How's that?
That's where all the gems are. That's where all the gems are, the 6th round.
I got a Dartmouth grad who's on my staff, McLevin here. I don't know if we want to get into Ivy League trash talk. What is Ivy League trash talk, by the way? He went to Dartmouth.
I could bring up the 1992 standings when Jay Fiedler led the Big Green to an Ivy League title. No big deal.
No, you're right. It wasn't a big deal. Nobody knows that except you. And I apologize. I didn't know McLevin went to Dartmouth. I'll try to speak slower so he can keep up.
Wow. Well, isn't the Big Green something that you probably brought up after a long night of drinking?
Wait, by the way,
I think that's what they're known for up at Dartmouth, isn't it?
Yeah, nothing else to do up there, right?
Matt didn't know I went to Dartmouth because I don't bring it up every third paragraph like a Harvard grad.
Wow.
That is true. We do like to advertise the fact of where we went to school. That is correct.
Do you have a Harvard tattoo?
I do. Unfortunately, I will admit that it was, in retrospect, not one of my better decisions.
Had you been drinking?
No. In fact, but I did have to. I don't think it's the case now, but the law was when I was in college that tattoos were outlawed in Massachusetts. So we actually drove to Rhode Island to get them, which means we had a 45-minute drive to think about it. This wasn't like we were walking by the tattoo parlor and said, "Hey, let's do it." This was intentional and well thought out.
Where is it?
It's above my ankle.
And below your...
above my ankle, below my knee, kind of like the low calf area. Yeah, it's not. It's nothing nothing I'm extremely proud of, Dan.
Is that the only one you have?
No, I have another one on my arm. I have my kids' names, which I have 6 kids, which means I have a really big arm.
I was gonna say.
And that one I'm far more proud of.
No more kids, right?
It's up for debate.
Do you have room on your arm? Would you say to your wife, "Hun, we can't have any more kids. I have no room on my arm"?
No, I that's only one arm. I've got another one. So.
Well, good luck with the new job title, whatever it means, Matt, and good to talk to you again.
Hey, can I just say this too? I don't know if you still do this. 6'5", 265.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
That's Matt Birk, NFL Director of Football Development.